So I've been using the Hammerhead Karoo 2 for some time now, and I'm ready to share the good, the bad, and I hope they change this on version 3 of the Karoo 2. The question is, can it hang with the big hitters of Garmin and Wahoo, or does it fail to reroute its way to the top? Full disclosure, while I did get this product sent to me for the purpose of review, this video is not sponsored, and all of my opinions in this video are my own and won't be previewed by the company before this video is published. With that out of the way, let's get into it. In this review, I will cover the following topics: ergonomics and build, route planning and maps, features I enjoy, and battery life in charging. The ergonomics when it's in your hand feel phenomenal. And in my opinion, it's inviting you to twist it off the mount and engage with it, much like a phone, stopping on rides and bringing it up to you instead of leaning down towards it. Speaking of mounts, the Hammerhead has its unique mounting system and comes with an included mounting arm which fits any 31.8 bar. While it looks like a solid option, I did not use it as I had a bunch of amazing K-edge mounts that had the Garmin plate on them, so I just been using those on all my bikes. Around the edge of the K2, you have 4 buttons that are under a rubber bumper. The buttons are soft to the touch, but do give you a nice click when pushed in. So the biggest part of any device is how you interact with it, and when it comes to a bike computer, that is through the info on the display. The matte finish of the display is something I really enjoy about the Hammerhead Karoo 2. It lets you see the screen in bright daylight while minimizing glare. One major downside of the screen is the size. While the unit itself is pretty big, the screen real estate doesn't fit the match. Having huge bezels around the screen doesn't make too much sense. I do hope there is an improvement on this for the 3rd iteration, especially because most of the people who look to buy a bike computer like this want to use the mapping features, and while having a slightly bigger display, that experience will be enhanced. Speaking of looking at maps, let's talk about the next topic: route planning and maps. Now, I came from a Wahoo, and planning a route and uploading it to the Wahoo was undoubtedly better. There's no question about that. The process on the K2 seems to be very involved at first, but it does get easier. Or maybe I just got used to it. I do have a full video on how I upload routes to the K2. If you want to check that out, there will be a link in the description below. I must admit that while the route planning is a little cumbersome, the map screen is by far my favorite part of the device. With its matte finish, the screen displays beautiful colors that shine through in bright daylight. I love just going out on my bike and exploring my surroundings without having to reach for my phone. The touchscreen, while sometimes a bit laggy, works well and is intuitive, albeit a bit small for the device's size, like I had previously mentioned. The use of Wi-Fi is quite cumbersome with the Karoo 2. To get a route onto the computer, you need to find a Wi-Fi connection, or you could opt to pay for a SIM card and use cellular. I doubt many people go with the cellular route, so Wi-Fi is your friend. The biggest downside to this is not necessarily the uploading, as most of us are at our home or in a hotel room when uploading a route. My biggest gripe with this is that once you've completed the ride, sometimes your ride doesn't end where your ride started. Or maybe you uploaded a gravel race route at home and you drive to the race because you are not from there and you're not in a home or hotel near you. And when you finish the ride won't upload without a Wi-Fi connection. You can now use your cell phone as a hotspot, but I find this to be a little cumbersome compared to the competition. This has led me to track most of my rides on my watch because it effortlessly connects to my phone and uploads the ride to Strava wherever I have a cell phone connection. I do track rides on the Karoo 2 just so I can see my stats or follow a route as I ride, but most of the time when I upload, it's not from my Karoo, it's from my watch. Let's talk about the next topic: features I enjoy. The Hammerhead Karoo 2 has some excellent features baked into it that I particularly enjoy. Now, I can't say that these are particular to Hammerhead, but I do enjoy them. So the first one is the slide down menu. When you're on a ride, you can slide down the menu and swipe left or right to check your sensors, control your light, whatever you may need. The menus are super easy and intuitive to use. The second feature is the climber feature. When I initially got the Karoo 2, the climber feature surprised me on my first ride. I didn't expect to be able to see the road ahead and the gradients it takes on, especially when I was not riding a planned route. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked this feature or not, but after some time using the Karoo 2, I've really learned to enjoy it. When you're on a hill, it's nice to know what gradients are coming up to be able to moderate your power throughout the hill. This leads you to riding the hill more efficiently and perhaps beating an opponent or getting a PR because you've distributed your energy better throughout the ride. The last feature I enjoy is the USB-C charging. As USB-C has grown over the last few years, it's nice to have devices on your bike use them, as you can plug into a MacBook or iPad charger you have laying around the house or workplace. Speaking of charging, let's talk about the biggest downside. The last topic is battery life and charging. Well, we got to the part you all were waiting for, or maybe you weren't, as you may have already guessed what will be said. Plain and simple, the battery struggles. I don't think it's truly as bad as people say it is, but it can cause some concern. For example, if you're heading out for a big day on the bike, you better make sure it's at 100% when you start, as you will probably use most of it and then some. This is why people, including myself, are bothered by it. You see, I could run the Karoo 2 on the data screen all day with no problems, but that's not why you get a Karoo 2. Most of the people interested in a device like this are interested in it because of the maps. They want to run the map screen. On the map screen, you won't be able to knock out a 8 to 10 hour day. For example, when I went to ride the White Rim earlier this year, I had to switch the screen to the data pages for most of the day, and even took extra precautions and put the screen in sleep mode. This is why people are understandably angry. It's like having a dream bike with your favorite components all built up for you, but it has no pedals. What's the point of a dream bike with no pedals? So my final thoughts and recommendations. So while I think that the Hammerhead Karoo 2 is indeed an amazing computer, I do think that it has some room to grow in future renditions and iterations. I hope the third iteration of the Karoo 2 has a bigger screen or slimmer bezels, aka smaller size, but the same size screen, as this edition I think would be key for its use case. The battery life is definitely something the Karoo 2 can improve, although I do realize my two main flaws with the device somewhat contradict each other, as with a bigger screen, you would indeed need to have more battery life to keep it powered. I don't think that the focus of the next iteration needs to be a brighter screen, as this one is viewable even in bright daylight. I use mine at around 50% brightness to save battery, and I have no trouble viewing maps on it at that brightness. One more thing I wish Hammerhead would do is have a phone integrated app. This would alleviate the route planning pain and upload to your device. And you would be able to finish a ride and have it upload to Strava no matter where you finish, as long as you have a cellular connection. Now, I know some people are new app opposed and they don't want to install new apps onto their phone, but I would be totally okay with this. So looking at the current price of $399, would I recommend it? I can't say I would at that price, although I have seen the Hammerhead Karoo 2 on sale plenty of times around the year. If you need a solid bike computer and are willing to put up with some of its shortcomings, then I would get one. However, this is a device that has been out for some time now, and I would recommend waiting for the third iteration. Hopefully I can get my hands on one when they come out and update you on all the changes that the third iteration offers. That is it for this video. Thank you to Hammerhead for sending this unit out for review. Drop a like down below if this video helped you out or you found it entertaining at all, and thank you for subscribing.